Hey friends, welcome back to my ultimate dream garage. It's been about 6 months since redoing the entire thing, so let me give you a grand tour of what's inside. Let's start off the tour with my miter station and clamp wall. The fun thing about my miter station is it's on this mobile Husky cart where I can actually wheel it out into the driveway when I'm cutting down larger stock, but I can still access it when I need to make smaller cut. The nice thing about my clamp wall is it's pretty much easily accessible to get any style clamp I need to when I want, and I have some of my specialty clamps up inside this box here. All right, let's get into the miter station, starting out with the top drawer. I keep pretty much all of my measuring equipment in this drawer. So all of my levels, rulers, squares, and of course, good old handy dandy measuring tape for when I'm making cuts on the miter station, as well as a couple pencils. This is like my go-to drawer for measuring things. Next up, all of my larger hammers. The collection of hammers that I've gotten from my dad as well as my own. And below are my smaller hammers and my specialty hammers. Below that drawer, I have a couple hacksaws, hand saws, a couple extra blades. In the bottom drawer, I have my 2 circular saws. I have a couple extra blades for the miter saw. I have my hearing protection. All right, moving along to this drawer. The top side, I have more safety gear. So I have goggles, masks, gloves, any kind of other protective gear that I might need. Below that, I call this kind of like my demo drawer. Any of my pry bars, really hefty mallet, pretty much anything I need to like do some demo work, hence the demo drawer. Below the demo drawer, I have all of my blades. All of the blades go to these saws. So I have all my saws directly below, and then right above it, the different blades that I need to just grab and go. Moving on from the miter station, we have the Levrack. I have the 7-foot system with 4 bays. Let me show you what's inside. The first cabinet I dedicated to my husband, so I've let him use this for all of his surf gear. I believe he has like his winter, spring, and summer suits, and then just different equipment that he uses, also some of his dive gear. And moving on to the other side, I've dedicated it pretty much to all the different paints and epoxies, stains, and then all of the things that you need to apply it. And then in different containers, I have brushes, rollers, all ready so I can just pull it out and use what I need and then put it back. More paint trays down below. On this shelf, I keep pretty much all of my back stock of tools that I don't use readily. So I have like a biscuit joiner, I have a couple different routers, different electrical equipment. There's an iron back there for doing edge banding, hole saws, there's a belt sander. On the other side, I have more hardware and back stock of different equipment. So all of my plumbing stuff up here. I have more hardware, screws and such like that. 90% of all of my screws and attachments, hardware are in that cabinet over there. However, I have some stuff where it was just too large and it made more sense to keep it in its container rather than to pour it out in the drawer. Then I just have some tarps and some back stock for things in the house. Now that I showed you what's inside the Levrack, let me show you some of the things that I store up top. Not very much, but I do have all of my dowels stored up here from size. Sometimes if I have a couple pieces of wood that I need to store and grab readily, rather than having to get up where my wood storage is up there, I can keep a couple pieces easily accessible right in an arm's reach. I made this little closet area to be able to close off and store my husband's surfboards. And on the back side of the surf closet, I have my whiteboard wall. It's perfect for writing down my cut list, to-do list for the day. Love having this here. So there are a couple things in the garage that I kept pretty much the same, but just gave maybe a little bit of a facelift or an upgrade. This being one of them. My dad had a black tool chest that was here. It was about half this size, and I pretty much laid out all the tools the exact same way he did, because that's just kind of how I had memorized where the tools were, and I just gave them a little bit more room to breathe and some organization along the way. Let me give you a look of what's inside here. Top drawer. I have all the different scrapers, putty tools, you name it, when it comes to scraping, cleaning, applying. Then I also have a couple different sets of tape over here. Drawer below it is all of my different fasteners and I guess, I don't know, swabs. I didn't have this drawer before, which is really cool that they offer this, but it's a pull-out drawer with this butcher block top, which is nice for working on projects and then being able to close it up later. And then underneath, you can actually store stuff, so that's kind of cool. Over to this drawer, have all of my sharp tools. This is pretty much identical. This is like 90% of what my dad actually had, and I think I've maybe used 1 to 2% of it. But I have it if I need it. Below that, punches, a couple different rasps and files, some pipe cutting tools. Then below that, I have a couple more chisels. They're all kind of smaller hand chisels and some more files. And then the large drawer below it is where I keep all of the pliers. I have quite a few different types of pliers. So this is the plier drawer. And then, I know this might sound silly, but I have 2 different drawers for screwdrivers. This is just how my dad had it set up, but he actually had them all piled on top of each other and it was really hard to find the type of size screwdriver you need. But so I have all of my Phillips screwdrivers in this drawer and then all of my like mini specialty screwdrivers over here. The drawer below that, I have all of the regular screwdrivers and then also a couple different specialty types of screwdrivers like the star bit. I also have this magnetizing and demagnetizing tool, which is kind of cool for the different screwdrivers. Below that is where I have all of my wrenches, Allen keys. I realized that my dad actually didn't have a full set. So when I went through to actually organize, I was missing quite a few. So over time, I'm kind of going through and filling in the ones that I need. I have quite a few Allen wrenches. And then this is my set that I go to quite often to use. This was one of my dad's sets. I just figured it can't hurt to have too many of these. Below that drawer is where I have a lot of my armor tools set up. So I have a lot of different clamps, dog hole clamps. I have my armor tool pocket hole jig and some of the screws and some clamps for it, which is nice because I have my armor tool table right over here. So I can access the drawer, pull out what I need. I also have this whole crate that I can actually pull out when need if I'm working with a lot of clamps, but it's nice to be able to just close it all off. Over here is where I have my wide selection and collection of tape measures. Of course, you can never have too many tape measures, and I also have probably 1 or 2 in each of my other drawers next to my cutting utensils. Below that, I have some more chisels. These are more for like spoon carving. Below that, I have a couple different tools like my pop riveting tool, threading tool. I have a couple different X-Acto knife. And then below that, extension cords for yard work, some timers. So that was this giant beast. Along with having a tool cabinet that was located here, this cabinet has been here my entire life as well. I gave a little bit of an upgrade and a facelift, which you can check out in this video right here. But let me give you a little bit of a tour of what I have inside this cabinet. This cabinet has a lot of drawers, so I'm not gonna go through every one of them. I'll just give you a brief overview of what I'm storing in them and show you how I've kind of organized it to make it work a little bit better for me. The top set of drawers is where I'm storing all of my screws, or at least 90% of them, and they're broken down by size and type. The next row down of drawers, more screws, specialty screws, and nuts and bolts. Third row down of drawers, clamps, machine screws, and more types of hardware to hang things. It really is nice to have multiple types of slotted drawers for different types of hardware to store away because you never know when you're gonna need it, but having its own compartment is pretty nice, I will say. I didn't fill all the drawers, I still have a few that are empty that I can grow into, which is nice. Now we're onto this portion of the garage, which has all my drills, drill drivers, and different types of bits in the drawers. Let's take a peek. I love having these upper cabinets to house all of my drills on one side, extra chargers above, drill drivers on the other side, and more batteries and chargers, and then some accessories on the far end. I also love keeping these little magnetic trays on the inside of the cabinet doors where I keep a couple extra accessories just for grab and go purposes, as well as if I'm just getting done working with a project, I can put it up here, be able to come back to it later. And then directly below the cabinet that has all the drills, I have all of my drill bits. I mean, every type of drill bit that I need. I have, you know, concrete bits, specialty bits, this little guy that can get into random little angles. And then off to this side, I have more bits, but these are more like drill bits. And then I have some of my Forstner bits. This is a Forstner bit set. And below that, more fasteners, so my staple guns, and then all of the different hardware that I need for the staple gun. More Forstner bits. I have a couple really large size ones. That's for my Dremel, so it turns it into a drill press. And then my 2 planers. And the bottom drawer across from that, I have my 2 nailers, my brad nailer and my pin nailer. And then right above that drawer, I have all of the different nails and pin nails in the different sizes for that. Above that drawer, here's my Dremel drawer with all my different bits. I also have a wood burning kit. Little side note, the very first tool I ever got was a Dremel. I think it's actually this one right here, and I got it for my 8th grade graduation. And then as you see, I've collected more along the way. And then above that, a couple more bits. This setup that's in between the 2 cabinets, it's kind of my just go-to for anything I need quick and accessible, but I also keep it as kind of my inspiration wall. All of these things that are on here mean a little something to me and draw a little bit of inspiration whenever I look at them, which is perfect to have it right dead center in the garage. I have my charging station for all my electronics directly below the pegboard on the counter here, where I can charge my phone, my camera equipment, play some music. I have all of my remotes easily accessible. It's right here on the counter. Onto this corner of the garage, I have the laser engraver and the computer set up. Let's go through these cabinets up above here. This one has a lot of my different adhesives, so wood glues, super glues, putties, some of my CA glues, and really industrial tapes. This one, I have some of my different caulkings, spray foam, some of the stuff for when I need to do epoxies or doing stains, a couple different things for wood, my foam brushes. On this side I have cleaning supplies, solvents, steel wool. And then below that I have my scroll saw station, and underneath that I have all of my scroll blades inside here. I also have the foot pedal hooked up, which is nice for the scroll saw, so it's already plugged in and ready to go. Let's check out the cabinet that's below the laser engraver. Top drawer, I have some sanding blocks and tack cloths, different stuff for woodworking. Then I have more sandpaper below. A lot of this is like wet, dry sandpaper for metal and different applications. Below that, more sandpaper, but these are for my different power sanders, so oscillating sander, which are down below. So all of my sanders are right below, and then right above it are the different sandpapers and all the different grits. On to the other side, I have my router bits and a couple different tools to operate the routers. And then below I have my small handheld router and a biscuit joiner. I have another one in that other cabinet, but these are the ones that I use more frequently. So this was my creative solution for storing wood. I just get the ladder up and grab what I need when I need, and it's worked out perfectly. In the center of the garage is where I have my beautiful Laguna Table Saw, which is also on wheels. The nice thing is, once again, I can maneuver it around the shop when need be. I also have this adjustable Husky Workbench, which I'm using as my outfeed table at the moment. I can maneuver it around for shorter or longer stock, and having both of them on wheels by the garage door is easy to be able to move it closer or further out depending on what project I'm actually working on. If you haven't seen a common theme by now with everything being mobile, I also have a mobile workbench by Armor Tools. I love this thing because it's perfect when I'm working on multiple projects at once. I also, like I showed earlier, in this bottom drawer have all of my clamps and accessories, easily accessible to be able to work with the tabletop right here and easy to put away when need be. Well friends, that's my garage tour. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been 6 months to get to this point, and I still have some upgrading to do, as you can see from my list over there. I can't wait though to see where this garage is in a year from now. I'm stoked and I'm pumped the way that it is now, and I love where all of my tools are, but I know ultimately some things are gonna move around. I'd love to know in the comments, what are the things you loved about it? What are the things you didn't love about it? What are some of the tools that I do need to add in here? Let me know. But until next time, friends, see you around. Bye, friends. Until next time. Bye. Bye, friends.